Welcome to Annex Cloud Market Movers, where we bring in market luminaries and experts to help us with navigating the current times. Today, I am very excited to bring in Mariano, who is the co-founder and co-CEO of VTEX. Mariano, very much welcome to you to Annex Cloud Market Movers.
It's an honor to be here.
Wonderful. Mariano, it'd be great for our audience to know a little bit about you, a little bit of introduction about your background and your company. Maybe we can start there.
Okay, so my name is Mariano Gomide de Faria. I am CEO, co-CEO and co-founder of VTEX. VTEX is a 21 years old company. We were born in Brazil. It is an enterprise digital commerce platform. So a platform that just focus in the enterprise operations. We run companies like Walmart, Carrefour, Coca-Cola, Whirlpool, Electrolux, Levi's, from fashion, from grocery to electronics, all over the world. So we have operations in 32 countries. And we are in the niche of the market that if you are big enough to realize that Shopify-like or SaaS solutions are not what you need. And if you don't want anymore to have the on-premise big projects, headless, big IT-driven operation, we are in between. So we promise our clients a very unprecedented time to market. So we have launched, for example, Whirlpool in Russia in 3 months from the contract to go live, fully integrated with SAP and all the ecosystem. And we do have in the same solution, the CMS, the OMS, and the marketplace functionalities. So that makes VTEX a unique offer in the market. And I am based in New York, Scarsdale. I'm a mechanic engineering, and my passion, it's about spearfishing. That's my hobby. So that's all about myself and the company.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive introduction, Mariano. I think we might start a little bit broader and understand your perspective. Obviously, a lot has changed over the last 18 months in the world of commerce. But if you had to synthesize that idea of change into 3 to 4 key things that are really driving big behavioral change that will stay over the next few years as well, what are the things that you are really considering from your perspective in that respect?
I will approach on 3 dimensions. First, the lack of talents. So the lack of talents will change the way companies will act in the near future. The technology companies already realize that, and now the retailers, the brand manufacturers are realizing that. Without the digital native talents, those companies cannot survive in an era of digital native first. So that will change completely the org chart, the way to manage people, the HR departments. It's going to be a massive change. And the companies needs to face this immediately. The second dimension is the conversational commerce. So conversational commerce, it will be a big hit. It's already been a big hit in Asia. So conversational commerce, it is taking over. It's already representing like a 30% of the Asian market. And 5 years ago was absolutely nothing. I foresee that Europe and United States will face a dramatically change of platforms. Today, the browser, the mobile are the king, but then the platforms of conversation will take over and will represent 30 to 50% of the digital commerce in 5 to 10 years. And the companies needs to address this issue and needs to invest in this direction. And the third is the cross-border. So the cross-border, it is already representing 20% in average of all the countries' digital commerce operations. And the majority of the companies from each country doesn't realize that. So only the marketplace, the big companies are surfing the wave of cross-border. And I do believe now it is the time for companies, all the retailers will surf the same wave of cross-border. Remembering that the de minimis, that this is the custom barrier that a product can enter, has been rising in all the countries. Last month, Biden in the United States have raised the de minimis of United States from $200 to $800. That means that if you have a retail or a brand manufacturer from any country in the world, you can ship directly to the United States and will go under the customs. So that's changed everything, because the United States also can export from the United States to the world all material, all kind of goods. So talents, cross-border, and conversational commerce are the three main things that we are seeing as a big shift in the near future.
And I think if we dive a little bit deeper to kind of understand your perspective, maybe we start with conversational commerce, because that's an interesting, very interesting topic that we've talked about for a while. Your prediction is very interesting. You said a good portion, a big portion of commerce will happen through conversational commerce. Do you think that will be in certain geolocations driven through that? Is it driven through a specific phenomenon? What is going to drive that change suddenly that will make it such a big portion of commerce in the upcoming years, according to you?
I do believe where we see already the platforms up and running, like WhatsApp, like WeChat, like the messaging systems already up and running and dominating the interface of the users in each country. I do believe this is going to be in those countries that they're gonna like humping up first. If you see like Brazil, if you go for a suburb of Brazil, São Paulo, a suburb of São Paulo, for example, and if you go for a city like Itu, like a very small city, if you go and walk in the streets, you're gonna see saloons, you're gonna see like bars, you're gonna see all the local stores with in the shelf, in the signs with the number of WhatsApp. This is, I can say that 50% of the stores in a lot of countries has the number of the WhatsApp in the shelf, in the signs of the store. So that shows that they are already engaged by the conversational, but they didn't transform these interface that already exist into a commerce solution. And obviously, this is the next step. So the countries like United States probably will not be the ones that will be like leading this revolution, but the United States, in the United States, you just have one platform that's messaging, the iMessage. So we will see in the United States the merging of conversational chats like WhatsApp, like others. And once we have it, it will dominate the market and will take 30 to 40% of the digital commerce GMV will flow for these channels.
That's a very bold prediction, and that's strong, right? Because I mean, in many of these markets, you know, especially APAC or LATAM, I mean, people went directly to their device from you know, and skipping sort of the middle layer when the internet came about. So, you know, I agree. I think in just broad terms, you know, that conversational commerce will take over, especially in those markets first, and then some of the other markets like North America that are more prevalent will follow. You know, going further into some of your other predictions and understanding that better. I mean, the talent war has been there for a while, right? We've all had challenges with the talent pieces. You know, what do you think that retailers and brands should do now to plan to stay ahead of the game in that war so that they don't get affected significantly and they're able to compete, especially with the likes of Amazon, where they have a big talent pool and they're sucking in more talent pool and growing that way?
So first of all, marketing, it is not anymore creative people coming from marketing universities. Marketing is managed by mathematics, by developers, by formation that's much more math oriented, as well on sales, as well in operations. So what the companies needs to do immediately is to change the role description. So when you are hiring someone for marketing, you will not hire a marketing specialist or digital marketing specialist. No, you will hire a developer, but they will act as a marketing specialist. And this is the toughest part, because how to convince a very tech guy to come to marketing. Tech guys, they hate marketing. They hate the word marketing. So how to transform an organization from upside down and bring the tech talents to run areas that used to be run by other talents pools. So that's the big challenge. The way I see is the companies needs to create their own programs. bringing people from the university and engaging them with academic plus work and training them into the market. If you do not control the future of your own talents, you will not control your future at all. So I can give you an example of VTEX, our company, that we were lacking of talents, and then we decided to control our future. So we create two main programs. TETREX, that's 150,000 students apply to be on a finalist of a 21 only. And those that goes to the finalists, they are delivered to the companies. So we have in the semifinal 600 people that we deliver to VTEX, to our partners, to our clients, and those ones are the best of the 150,000 globally selected. This is actually the biggest university challenge in the world. This is a TETREX challenge.com. The other one is the DCS. We call the Digital Commerce Specialist Program, where we pick people that already have been like early graduated and recently graduated, and then we give a training of 2 years. 2 years training, mixing work and studies, and we pay for that, and we do not demand any kind of link or a bond to the company. If we are good enough, people will stay. So those are the two things that we did, and now I can say that we have the future of our company in control. But I don't see these in the retailers. I don't see these in brand manufacturers. They are worrying to hiring the people from the market, not to build their own future. So that's my kind of recommendation for the enterprises that are listening for this session.
That's great. And I think those two examples you gave that you did yourself are amazing with TETREX and DCS. So that's great. Going a little bit further into kind of what we are interested in on Annex Cloud side, like understanding a little bit from your perspective, one of the big changes that happened over the last few years was the disruption in the supply chain, the disruption in the ability for people to supply the same product. So now choices, for consumers became more prevalent. I give an example. A lot of new soup companies became popular because Campbell could not provide soup to the distributors during that time of the pandemic. So now people got more choices, and now they have the ability to kind of consume different types of products, which they normally would not have consumed if this wasn't the case. And this has happened in all industries, right? And so with brands like Campbell, they have a retention challenge. With new brands that have now attracted a bunch of customers, they have a retention challenge to keep the new customers along. What is your take on retention and loyalty as an important tactic for brands over the next decade? Because by default, sometimes marketers just focus on new customer acquisition, right? It's their DNA, like I want to just acquire new customers. But retention becomes big because you can only spend so much. The costs of acquiring are going up. So what is your take on retention in general in the world of commerce?
So you were like spot on. Long tail will dominate. And the long tail means that all the retailers in the world will need more cash flow to pay for the capacity of expose the long tail to the clients. But the problem is that they don't have this cash flow. So what's the natural solution for the world where the society has more money than time? All over the world, society is buying time. So when a society doesn't have like a kind of when a supply or a retail doesn't have the exactly product that the consumer needs, they will go and find and will buy from abroad, but they will buy what they need, not anymore what they would buy what they find. That's end. So these global dominance of supply chain and logistics will run the show, and the retailers will need to become marketplace by default. So marketplace, it is not a kind of a featured company anymore. Marketplace, it is a basic functionality of every single retail and brand manufacturer in the world. It is like to put your website into like a mobile, you will have marketplace functionalities. you will become a marketplace. You will sell things that are not from you to buy. That's you becoming a customer centric. So this is a reality, and this is how I do believe the big enterprises will arbitrate this necessity of long tail that is emerging.
That's great. And I think I want to digress into the specifically marketplace concept, right? Because VTEX does it uniquely, at least from an external world perspective, as I see it, where you're trying to address B2B, B2C, marketplace, all on sort of the same platform. I mean, is there a specific perspective that you carry, why you have the entire sort of stack, and how do you see that?
So today, if you want to fulfill all your desires, and if you are a car fan, and if you want a car for to be fast, you go for a BMW, probably. If you want a car to put in the mud, you go for a Jeep. And if you want a car, I don't know, to be in a sunny day, you go for a convertible one. If you want a car for the family, you go for a 9-seat car. But the problem is that all the companies only have 1-2 garages. So why we put all of the solutions together is because it's not sustainable anymore to have more than 30 solutions to build your solution. 2 reasons. First, elasticity, SLA. You cannot count in an ecosystem of 30 things working together with a different infrastructure. When you need to be like very elastic, one of that pieces will fail. And if you can pursue solutions with a 99.5% of SLA, but when you put 30 of them in a row, the 99.5 multiplied by 99.5, like 30 times, will go for 9. It will be 96%. And go to Electrolux and say, look, you have all the cars you need, but you're gonna be 2 days out in a month, every month. The guy say, okay, forget about it. So this is the headless approach gives freedom, but with freedom without talent, companies are creating Frankensteins, and Frankensteins needs to be run in a 1.5 seconds page, not in a 7 seconds page. So this is where the world is going to struggle in the near future. So secure elasticity, one. And the second one is privacy, security. Imagine to run a company, international brand in Europe with 20 countries, and you need to be like a GDPR compliance. But then you need to explain to your consumer and to the authorities that you share your data with 32 entities. And you need the contract and the signature and the compliance of the 32 entities. And now, obviously, you can have data flowing from country to country, but I see a world that in the near future, data will be locked in the country. So how can you do it if you need those kind of systems fully integrated working together? That's why we went to approach that you can have in one solution, the CMS, the OMS, and marketplace functionality, all them together. So you can run globally your landscape of go-to-market and have a control, what we call a single source of truth. So that's the main reason. Companies, they want to be simple. They want to be transparent for the in terms of transaction, but at the end they are pursuing complex solutions, and this paradox needs to be solved, and that's what VTEX is made for. So we are solving these complex things for big companies in a lot of countries, and we are lucky at the end of the day, because complexity is coming to the retailers, and what we solve is the complexity puzzle. So I'm very enthusiastic in the years to come.
Great, that's fabulous. And I think just going towards the last topic you mentioned around cross-border, what was interesting to me when you mentioned it is, even though the rules are relaxing for cross-border and countries are maybe embracing it more than they were before, you still need, and it's expensive to ship out of the United States to other parts of the world, unless you have a distribution center in those locations or other places Sure, and I keep taking the example of Amazon, right? They have distribution centers everywhere. They can execute at a grand scale, but can other companies do the same? And will cross-border have a limitation because of that distribution issue?
So if you look just for the the delivery part of the cross-border, you're gonna arrive that cross-border is lazy and expensive. But you need to put in the same calculation that the inventory management is what breaks and make bankruptcy of any retailer on earth. If you do not manage your inventory well, you will go down. So today, if you do a bet and put and advance your inventory for a country and you don't sell there, you're stuck. You're stuck on tax. You're stuck on liquidation. So you need to just burn your merchandising. Once you have decentralized and yes, you're gonna pay more and it's gonna be lazier, and it's gonna be not too fast to deliver it to a country, but you centralize your power of inventory and you count on the inventory that you have in the field through sellers to fulfill the necessity of a one-day delivery. Actually, you can be healthy. So that's what the good retailers and the good brand manufacturers are doing right now. They're centralizing a worldwide cross-border engine, and they will advance only the pieces of the products that have a certain to be sell in that region specifically. And so it is not an option to be in the game of the cross-border. It is a mandatory thing that companies to address this problem. And then allow me to bring one big thing. When you say, look, let's address cross-border to the US brand that have I don't know, 100 franchises in 100 countries. What is the area that will address cross-border? We have marketing, we have sales, and we have operations. Nobody is looking for the disruption, and licensing contracts will kill the cross-border kind of adjustment of the big enterprises. So what's happening? Companies like Hawkers.es they are disrupting the marketing. They are disrupting the market because they don't have these attachments of the past to build the future. So Hawkers, it's $100 million company selling glasses all over the world, shipping from Asia. No overhead of distribution in any country in the world. And that overhead, if you compare to Lusotica, they're gonna have thousands of employees in maybe hundreds of countries. Hawkers, they don't. They have one office, one team, and they ship everything from Asia to the countries. And that's why they will win. At the end of the day, you need to be digital native to fight the new kind of scheme that the digital commerce brought to the table. So, and after COVID, that's gonna be massive. Allow me to bring one more dimension. The digital click on Google and Facebook already reach a level that retailers and brand cannot afford to pay anymore. But at the end of the day, the click, it is an auction. So nobody, not even Google and Facebook, can stop the price to rise. What is happening? Companies will find different channels to reach their consumer. And then we're gonna have a big emerging of loyalty programs, a lot of conversational will pop up, live commerce will pop up, because companies will find a way of reaching the same consumer without paying the toll that today it is around 12 to 20%. Or they pay for the marketplaces, or they pay for the Google and Facebook like. This is not sustainable. So they will find their way to go directly, and that's what's coming next.
Great. That's a great sort of segue into my last piece. And I want to understand, you've given a lot of really strong statements today, which is fabulous, right? The growth of conversational commerce, the growth of cross-border. I mean, what are you most excited about from an innovation perspective, whether it's innovation within your company or just innovation in commerce in general, that will, that you are kind of, focusing on for the next 24 months? If you had to pick one thing, what would that be?
I do believe solutions will go more for an autopilot mode. So today, all the supply chain of digital commerce in the world provides software. And I do believe those companies will be transformed into an autopilot solutions. That means today, if you are retail, you need to fly your plane, know everything of every single piece of every button you need to do manually. You need to do the digital marketing, you need to calibrate the price, you need to calibrate the inventory, you need to coordinate like the sellers, you need to coordinate the campaigns on the free delivery. And you do these by instant and by calibrating, by test, A/B test. This is not for a human being to do. So the solutions will take over and you will give the future KPIs or the strategy that you want to pursue. For example, I want to have a 30% margin and I want not having more than 60 days of turnover of product in my inventory. Do whatever the system needs to do to keep that KPIs as a truth. So the system will calibrate price, the system will calibrate the orders, the sellers, the assortment that will bring to that specific store. Because at the end of the day, it is like a plane. Today, the most modern planes, they have fly-by-wire. The pilot there's almost no touch to landing or to taking off. And in the cruising altitude, for sure, pilots don't touch anymore. That's what is going to be the solutions for digital commerce. So it is one layer up, and I do believe that software companies are not ready for this next step. So software companies will become a solution companies. So solution as a service. That's what I do believe is going to be the land of the innovation in the years to come.
That's great. And it actually goes back to your talent wars because, you know, because things are getting so specialized, because channels are improving and increasing with conversational commerce and other channels with different specialties that are needed and the talent challenges that are there. If the automation does not happen, it's not sustainable. It's not something you can sustain for the many years. So bringing it all together, I think all of your different theories around the growth of conversational commerce, cross-border, the talent challenges, and the automation, they all go hand in hand and bring it all together. So, you know, Mariano, I know we can go on and on, but this was fabulous. I think all your theories are very, you know, strong and they sort of align well with each other. And so thank you for spending the time with us and sharing this with our audience. We really appreciate it. And for everyone else, if you want to see luminaries like Mariano and others, please go to annexcloud.com/marketmovers. Mariano, thank you so much again.
No, thank you for the opportunity to share those ideas with you and with your audience. And I do believe if companies like us, company like you, if we share knowledge, not sell knowledge, but share knowledge, we will create a more diverse approach on the retail in the world. And this is good. So I embrace all the companies that are listening to us. Share your knowledge. This is not the secret. Knowledge is not the secret. So share your knowledge, build knowledge in your people, and embrace the diversity, the cultural diversity, because the world, it is conversational, cross-border, and talent driven. So thank you very much.
Thank you again. Thank you.